This is the Post Shift Podcast, a raw look at the hospitality industry. Good morning, Post Shifters, and welcome to another episode of the Post Shift Shots, your little Tuesday blip in your ear. I'm your host, Shawn Soole. I do apologize. I have been slack as fuck lately with traveling as much as I have been with the little vacation we had and a few other things. I haven't been keeping up, and I'm planning on making sure that I am dialed in the coming weeks. With that being said, I was in Lisbon Bar Show just last week. I was in Lisbon for 3 or 4 days. Epic city. I really loved the Lisbon Bar Show. So I flew to Lisbon. It was a 20-hour flight. I got off the plane at 12:30 in the afternoon. I went home. I went back to my the place I was staying above Ulysses Bar in Lisbon, which we'll talk about a little bit more. And then I had a shower, very quick one, and then I had to speak at 2:10. So when I got up on stage, I'd been up for about 26, 27 hours straight with no sleep to do a 45-minute seminar for about 50 people. The Lisbon Bar Show it was housed in an old monastery, I think, and it was just a great show. It's very reminiscent for me to like a smaller version of BCB in Berlin, where you have a lot of tasting lounges and stuff like that. But some great products. It wasn't the great thing was it wasn't all the mainstream brands just chucking a whole bunch of money into it. There was some great little small brands. I picked up a couple of bottles. Thank you very much, Manuel Barrera, and brought them home and just had an absolute blast. Being in Lisbon. So that was a blast. My seminar was on flavor profiling and subconscious menu development. I'm hoping to get the audio for that so I can put that up as a podcast in the coming weeks. But the big news is I am flying to Singapore on Saturday. So you'll be listening to this on Tuesday. So 3 or 4 days later, I will be flying to Singapore, which is a massive move for me. It's about 4 or 5 weeks. And I'll be opening a bar there called Misfits and a little speakeasy called Roxy. So 2 bars in a space of 5 weeks. It's going to be a really hectic couple of weeks. But the post-shift shots will be awesome because it's all going to be about the culture shock of me being in Singapore for 5 weeks and opening a bar where I've never been to Singapore before, which is weird being so close to Australia. But I've never been to Singapore before, and it's a big international move for the company. But going back to Lisbon Bar Show, if you get a chance to go to Lisbon Bar Show, please do. Lisbon is on this sort of verge. It's a big, old city, really spread out, but it's on this sort of verge. Like it's very old world style, but it's on this verge of really blowing up. And I think with bars like Toca de Rapazo, and Ulysses Bar. So Ulysses Bar is owned by a good friend of mine, Manuel Barrera, who is a Portuguese-born Canadian. Absolutely wickedly nice guy. He was a distributor. Well, he still is a distributor here in Canada, but he owns this little tiny bar that is 20 square feet in Old Town, second oldest neighborhood in Europe. It's insane. Like the building that he's in, or he owns, that he has his apartment upstairs, is 700 years old, which you really wrap your head around. That's over three times as old as Australia itself, which is just mind-blowing when you think about that. But it's a 20 square feet bar, 10 seats. He bartends every night. He's got some epic little tools behind the bar that's fun. He's got like 6 beer taps, all local craft Portuguese beer, which it sounds like an oxymoron having craft Portuguese beer, but all the beers have been fantastic. I tasted a whole schwackload of beer while I was there and had a great time. But the beautiful thing with Ulysses Bar is that it's 10 seats that face each other. So when you sit down, you're actually facing the person you're with or facing someone else that's just been sitting there. So it really opens this beautiful line of communication and sort of conversation that you wouldn't normally find in a bar because you're always facing the bartender. The other bar I got to check out was Toca de Rapazo. Please go and see it. The bar is epic. The drinks is great. The food is fantastic as well. They got little small plates there like sardines and rillettes and stuff, which I thought was fantastic. I went there 2 nights in a row, once by myself and then once with Oren Lerner, who I interviewed. You'll be hearing his episode, I think, this Friday. But overall, it was just a fantastic time, and I was only there for 3 days, which I know it's a long trip to fly for 3 days, but I'm hoping to go back next year and keep experiencing Ulysses, because I know that Manuel's got some things up his sleeve that I really love to check out in the coming years. So this really is just a reflection of the low. I really thank everybody for completely grateful. I know I've done a couple of thank you episodes and grateful, but I really am. Sometimes with all the travel and everything else, you sort of get caught up in, oh my God, I'm tired, or I'm working too much and that sort of thing. And sometimes you just got to stop and look and go, oh, crap, I'm in fucking Lisbon. I'm hanging out in Lisbon, and I got to walk around, and we went to the Time Out market, and which was just a huge box market with different restaurants all around the place and all that sort of stuff. The drinks that we had were fantastic. I wish I got a chance to go to a couple of the other cocktail bars, but time restrictions and stuff like that didn't really allow me to check it out. But do yourself a favor and check out Lisbon. I think there's only 5 or 6 solid cocktail bars in the city, but it's really good culture, and it is building slowly but surely. And things like the Lisbon Bar Show will definitely keep building that culture. And I saw a lot of Portuguese bartenders and a lot of Lisbon-based bartenders at the show, and they seemed really keen to push the envelope. And it's inspiring to see a big old city like that really start coming into its own in the way of culture and everything else. Because we get spoiled in Canada. I get spoiled in Victoria because we have a great cocktail culture here. But that's my little recap of Lisbon Bar Show. Had a great time. I want to thank Alberto and Manuel for hosting me for Lisbon Bar Show, Manuel Barreira for putting me up at his place, great little apartment, and Ulysses Bar and that sort of thing. All the guys at Toca, I had a blast. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for everybody coming out and listening to my seminar. It was pretty highbrow, and I'm going to change that for next year for sure. But I had a great time, and if you're a speaker in the industry, an industry speaker, please go and check out Lisbon Bar Show and put your name down, see what they can do for you to bring you out. It's only going to make the industry better, and I think that's a big thing to look at. Is it's only going to make the industry better, and we all need to be pushing each other on multiple different platforms to be better. So that's my little blip for the week. Next week I will be in Singapore, which is fucking mind-blowing. So keep an eye out. You'll be seeing me exhausted and tired and arriving, and a lot of live videos and chatting and stuff like that. So please keep an eye out for Post Shift Shots. It'll be all about opening a bar in Singapore. Thank you everybody for the support, and I'll chat to you next week. Bye. Thanks, Post Shifters. I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you're listening, whatever platform you're on, give me a good rating, subscribe, listen along. I'm going to keep going. I really enjoy sitting down with people and learning where they're from, what they did, and how they got to where they were. So if you love it, give me a good 5 stars. If you don't, give me 1 and I'll try harder.